I'm here with Randy Yates, our master butcher, who's going to be teaching a butchering class at Old School Survival Boot Camp. He's working hard in here at this crew. What are you butchering, Randy?
Right now we're cutting the cow's hind leg.
Well, it looks good. Every bit of meat in here just makes you hungry when you walk in. So what should folks expect when they come to your class?
Well, I think we're going to kill the pig for them, and we're going to take the pig apart, show them how to break the pig down, show them how to cut the pig up without electricity, so they can survive out in the wild. We're going to end up cooking the pig, and we'll be serving pig dinners.
Are you going to throw the balls of the pig at them like you did at me the first time I saw you butcher one?
Well, if we have a pig that has balls, yes, that will happen.
So it's kind of like throwing the bouquet at a wedding. So what does a person win if they catch the hog balls?
Mountain oysters.
Mountain oysters, there you go.
Free dinner.
So what kind of tools would somebody have to use? They're going to do it the old-fashioned way
The
without all the
old-fashioned way.
fancy equipment you have in here.
Of course, they're going to need a gun to be able to kill them with. And then they'll need a knife to cut the throat so you can bleed them. Then you'll need, most of you'll need will be a knife and a handsaw. And the handsaw kind of looks something like this. This will be the saw we use to break the pig down. And this will be the saw we use to cut pork chops. We also will have a meat cleaver. And the meat cleaver will show you how you can break the joints with a meat cleaver, so you don't have to have electricity. But every joint in the pig can be cut just with a knife. So you don't actually need any of the other stuff, but you have to go with your thickness with the way that the animal is built. So you can't choose how thick you want something cut if you use just a knife. But it all can be done very simply. The problem you want to have is when you butcher, you'll probably be butchering in the winter times, so the animal can hang a couple days. Then you'll have to figure out some way, like with Sarah, how to preserve this animal so you can eat it for year round.
What would you recommend? Smoking, salt, honey?
I recommend smoking myself, but again, depending where you live, if you're out in the country with woods, you can smoke all you want. You'll have plenty to smoke with. If you're in town and can't get the access to the wood, you'll have to smoke or salt. The salt takes a while longer, and you lose more meat that way because of dehydration, and the salt is going to take a toll on the meat.
If you dehydrated it, smoked it, how long do you think it would last stored properly?
Almost a year. You can get a year out of it if it's stored properly.
And with salting, how long would it keep?
Salting will keep even longer. Salting is almost indefinite. The one nice thing is salt. When you get ready to go get your piece of meat, you just cut off what's bad, and you use the rest of it. It's very simple.
What type of physical ability are you going to need if you're going to butcher off-grid? Can a woman do a hog by herself? And then with the cutting of the bone and things with the tools the old way, even for a man, how strenuous is it actually to do?
Not. It's the biggest thing is picking up your side of the hog, which that can be, if you want to do it, you can cut it down to any size you can manually, so you can handle it. It don't have to be any certain size. You can cut it to what you can handle.
How long does it take to butcher a hog?
Well, that's a good question. For someone that knows what they're doing, the time they kill it, the time they get it in the cooler would be less than an hour. If you're just learning, it's going to take you a little bit longer. There's a lot of things you got to look for as you're doing it. Just like with gutting the animal, you got to make sure you don't bust the intestines. That causes you some problems. There are certain ways to do that so you don't bust the intestines, but everybody sooner or later will do that.
Well, I think your booth will be one of the most popular because as it goes on throughout the day and that hog's cooking, it's going to draw everybody near. But what if somebody was going to butcher, a beginning butcher? What would you suggest? Would you working your way up to a hog? Do you start with a deer, a chicken? Is any one more difficult than the other?
No, the only thing difficult will be a beef just because of the size and trying to handle it. On a hog, it's no different than, you have your equipment, it's okay. Now, if you want to go and dehair your hog instead of skinning it, then you've got another situation. You have to have barrels of water, and you got to heat them up to boiling, and you dip the whole hog in it. When you'll have to have a tripod with a chain hoist or something to get the pig in and out. Then you lay it out on a piece of aluminum, or not aluminum, but tin roof, and cover it with burlap sacks to let the hair soften up. And then you take a scraper and you scrape all the hair off of it, and then you still have all your hide. That way, when you skin it, or when you cut it, you can make cracklings later on, and you save more of the lard that way.
That's a process. Sounds almost like tanning a hide, and that's scraping all that fat and stuff off takes forever.
That's the toughest part about boiling a hog. And again, you boil it with the guts in it, so you've got to get it done as quick as possible, because you don't want them guts to get too warm. They do swell, and then there's a better chance you're going to cut the guts when you're degutting it.
Well, what's one final tip you want to give to your future students?
Just when they're working with this, take their time, do it right the first time. You don't want to go back and try to do something else, but if you go in and work patiently, it's something you can't do real quick. Just be patient, and you will end up with a great meal on your plate.
Well, thank you, Randy.
You're welcome, Miss Tara.